Official partners of WSC are Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Max and Stupidus, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
It's just so fascinating watching Etienne Bax just communicate with Nicolas Mousset, telling him what he aims to do as the gate drops for the first time. And Nicolas Mousset, of course, has the very important job of compensating for not only the weight but where the power goes as well. He needs to get the weight over the rear wheel of that machine. Kern Hermans and Glenn Jansen's number 3. There is Gert van Verven, Ben van den Bogart, number 11. A new pairing for this year, and a surprise pairing indeed. But I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, they are doing a fantastic job in the qualifying sessions, in the practice sessions. They are right up there on the times. So it'll be fantastic to see what they can do this weekend. Justin Cuban, Nicky de Bruyne, the Dutch and Belgian pairing on their VMC frame Zabel powered machine. Joining them alongside, just to the right-hand side, it looks as though Lucas Joni and Bastien Chopin are going to take up that spot. And just to the left there of the screen, you can see Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. We'll get to them in just a second, but Lucas Joni just making a few last-minute adjustments to his starting gate. There is the number 31 of Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. Of course, you can see there the CPD-framed mega-powered outfit. So CPD, a new one for us here. But that is the Cornelissen Personal Dienst. That is what CPD stands for, and it certainly looks as though it is working well for them here this weekend. They were right up there on the times throughout the practice and qualifying. But of course, all that matters now is the race. Thumbs up from Marvin van Lukener. New passenger Robbie Bax, who of course used to partner Arne Dirkins and used to partner a certain Etienne Bax as well. Of course, they are brothers, so that was going some way back now. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas. Kurt Varrick, now a 6-time Estonian champion, I think I'm right in saying, but either way, he's a very, very fast Estonian. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. 10-time a world champion. Getting himself into the zone is Daniel Willemsen. He's done this before, but the nerves are rising. The tension is building here in Jinin. Adrian Peter, Miroslav Zatlukau. You may remember in Rudersburg for GP14 in 2019, it was Adrian Peter who was doing the track walk with our very own Steve Randall. Of course, Steve not here this weekend, nor is Barry Nutley. It's just myself, Bradley Hicks, here this weekend, as we look at Davey Sanders and Johnny Vidaire. Just behind them on number 98 is Eden Copps and Paul Horton. Jake Brown and Joe Millard, they have opted to go for the outside. Of course, that could prove beneficial for the left-hand chair of Jake Brown and Joe Millard. There's Tim Leferink and Kostas Paleskas, the Dutch and Lithuanian pairing. And right on the far right-hand side of the gate, the left-hand side of the picture, is number 4, Fabian Hoffmann and Marius Strauss. So that is how they will line up. Just a few more outfits to put into place in the background there. But what a fantastic venue we have here for you. 2020 looked as though it was going to be a brilliant season, but of course we all know what happened there. The COVID-19 pandemic, the coronavirus hit, and it hit hard. We certainly felt that, and unfortunately the calendar had to be scrapped in the end. But we're back. We're back here in 2021, and we've got 15 seconds between now and the first gate drop of this season, the first one of this decade. Let's see who can get the best hole shot. There is Fabian Hoffmann and Marius Strauss, the Swiss pairing closest to the picture. Next to them is Tim Leferink and Kostas Paleskas. 5 seconds. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're ready for it. It's going to be a fantastic race here in the World Sidecarcross Championship. Away they go. Fabian Hoffmann, Marius Strauss. Oh, we've already had an incident there. Looks though Sven Visseling was involved in there as well, but didn't come off too badly. Let's have a look who that is. It looks as though it's Eden Copps and Paul Horton. So Eden Copps and Paul Horton. Davey Sanders as well with Johnny Vidaire have gone down as well. So the number 98 and the number 9 out of the running already before they even made the way up to the first turn. out in front. That looks like number 2, Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax. And indeed it is Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax out in front, ahead of the CPD, Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. There's the reigning world champion, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset in 4th place, just behind Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin. Look at that, look at the support from the Czech fans here. They are so happy to see Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin inside the podium positions already. Etienne Bax ahead of Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart. Look how close it is on the opening lap here. Hopefully Eugene Kops and Paul Horton, they've got underway. I can see them from the right hand side of commentary position here. Eugene Kops and Paul Horton are away, and Davy Sanders and Johnny Bidet are still down there on the gate. It doesn't look as though they have got underway, unfortunately, so hopefully they are okay. But all eyes back towards the front. Davy Sanders and Johnny Bidet, I should say, they are up and sat on the bike. It looks as though they're trying to get going again. So it's certainly one of the mechanics is trying to get that machine started. Either way, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, look at that, right at the inside of the 25 of Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, world champions of 2017, chasing down the 31 and the number 2. So 31, you can see just in picture there, going out of shot now, is Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. Next up is Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Then it's 25, Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin. But number 11, having a fantastic start so far to the season, Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart. It's so fascinating to see how different drivers and different passengers go together and work as well as what they do. But out in front by some margin already for the end of the first lap is Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax. It looks as though we've lost Adrian Peter and Miroslav Zatluka as well. So number 24, Adrian Peter and Miroslav Zatluka out of the running already. That was a 25 of Cherney and Chopin going a little bit wide. We can see from the bottom there, Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas down in 18th. I'm not sure what happened there, but certainly not a good start. Jake Brown, Joe Millard in 24th. Oh no, it's not going well for the British pairing, but with 27 minutes, there's plenty of time to make up positions and make up ground as we watch Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset chasing hard after the 31 of Feldman and Chermak. The gap, 1.1 seconds at the end of the first lap. Chasing hard after them is Cherney and Chopin on 24. But out in front, Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax. They'll be looking to pull the pin. The red mist will have descended already. They want to open up the gap over the 31 of Feldman and Chermak. There they are coming into picture now. A very distinctive white and green outfit. But the red plate holders, of course, reigning world champion is Etienne Bax, with Nicolas Mousset, won the World Championship in 2017. Etienne Bax won the World Championship in 2019. At the 13th of the 14 rounds we had in 2019. It looks as though he's chasing hard after Veltman and Chermak. The gap between themselves, 1.195 between second and third. Certainly looks a little bit closer as they come over the jump and into that left-hander. You can see just how hard Nicolas Mousset has to work to keep the rear end down on that machine. Look at him. Over the jumps, he'll move his weight towards the left-hand side of the machine. There is Veltman and Chermak just in front, and that is certainly less than 1.2 seconds now. Into the final part of the circuit, and just that little bit of difficult chicane to contend with. You can see a few different lines that were being taken throughout the course of the weekend, but there is Veltman and Chermak going through the gap. As I say, half a second now between Bax and Mousset. Next up is Cherney and Chopin, the Czech and French pair, and then it's Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart, number 11 in 5th, ahead of Dan Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, ahead of Cuban and De Bruyne. Hermans and Janssens down in 8th place, ahead of the Bukal Czech pairing in 9th. Van der Stralen and Jens Mans in 10th. Van der Lagema and Rob de Veen, they're up into 11th place. And if you didn't watch the qualifying session, they had a little bit of an incident. It looked as though it was a bit of a nasty crash for the number 99 outfit, but I'm happy to say that they're all okay. They're out there fighting strong. There's just a few aches and pains for Van der Lagema, but these boys are made of tough stuff, let me tell you. We've seen it before in the past, we've seen it now, and we will see it in the future. Not a lot will keep these guys down from racing. Etienne Bax and Casper Stupelis still trying their best to get onto the rear wheels of Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. Andre Chermak, of course, a bit of a local hero around these parts. Andre Chermak is from the Czech Republic himself, of course, and with Julian Veltman, he was doing a brilliant job on that CPD Mega outfit. Over the tabletop jump, very difficult. You can see Chermak and Nicolas Mousset just making their way towards the right-hand side of the outfit. Oh, Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset tried the same move as what they did on Lucas Cioni and Bastien Chopin just a couple of laps ago. Didn't quite work this time around, but Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax out in front by 2.5 seconds at the end of the previous lap. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Boogaard in a relatively lonely 5th place at the moment, ahead of Willemsen and Le Breton. As we look further down the order, there is number 11 of Gert van Verven, the Viking, and Ben van den Boogaard. Of course, Ben van den Boogaard, multi-time world champion, but most recently in 2018 with Marvin van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen, the Belgian, Robbie Bax, the Dutchman, in 1st place on the number 2 machine. Gert van Verven, as I said before, is a bit of a weird pairing. Well, not a weird pairing, it was a bit of a surprise pairing, I should say, between Gert van Verven and Ben van den Boogaard. But who are we to judge? It seems to be working for them, and that is all that matters. But I tell you what, the very experienced, multi-time world champion Daniel Willemsen is right on the rear wheel. Not many people, if any, are as experienced at this level in this sport as Daniel Willemsen on number 111. Had a good start to the 2019 season, but it doesn't look as though he made it through the later part of the 2019 season, but he's back. He's back there, and he's in 6th place, just a second behind Gert van Verven and Ben van den Boogaard. That is the battle for 5th place between number 11 and number 111. Oh, maybe a bit of a mistake there for Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Le Breton, losing a little bit of time. But Daniel Willemsen will get that back for sure. The amount of dust and mud and dirt being kicked up into the air from that driven wheel of Gert van Verven and Daniel Willemsen. Jumping into view though, 4th place, Lucas Cioni and Bastien Chopin in 4th. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Boogaard in 5th. Daniel Willemsen, 10 times a world champion, the first of which came in 1997. Way back when. Pure class and pure style. Looks like Daniel Willemsen is going to try and go for the inside line. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Boogaard, can he make a move? They were side by side, but it looks as though Gert van Verven's got the drive around that right-hander. But Daniel Willemsen is not going to take this. Oh, look at that, side by side, and a bit of contact between 111 of Dan Willemsen and Gert van Verven on number 11. Absolutely side by side, but it's gone favourably for Gert van Verven. But Daniel Willemsen, he's trying to find the gap. Oh, so close between Gert van Verven and Daniel Willemsen for 5th and 6th place. And I'll tell you what, Daniel Willemsen, I would not want to go head-to-head with that man right there, but Gert van Verven is probably as strong mentally as they come. If you see him in the paddock, it looks like a Viking, very tall, with the facial hair to go as well. Very empowering character. Ben van den Boogaard just taking a quick look over his right-hand shoulder. Daniel Willemsen, Rodolphe Le Breton go to the inside. Can they make a move? Oh, contact once again. Daniel Willemsen pushes Gert van Verven out wide. Gert van Verven and Ben van den Boogaard. Look at that, a bit of communication between rider and passenger. But Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Le Breton now into 5th place, ahead of Gert van Verven and Ben van den Boogaard. Oh, so close. But Daniel Willemsen, it seems as though he feels he's got the pace to go and catch up to number 25 of Lucas Cioni and Bastien Chopin. So it's always difficult to try and overtake someone who you're faster than, but not very much faster than. It's a bit of a difficult one, but he got through. He got through, and he's up into 5th place. There's our race leaders, Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax on outfit number 2. And it looks as though they're about to encounter some backmarkers already. Was that I saw? Or was it just the other part of the circuit? Who knows? They'll get to them when they get to them. Robbie Bax putting all his weight to the inside there on the right-hand side. Let's have a look who is doing what. Van der Lagermaat, Van der Veen, round the top 10 ahead of Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas from 18th to 11th in the first 10 minutes. Then it's Viges and Van der Putten in 12th. Heinzer and Betschar in 13th. As Etienne Bax looks up the inside of the number 31 of Julian Veltman, but doesn't make a move this time around. Julian Veldman doing a fantastic job there on the CPD Mega outfit, defending that second place position. And of course, the Czech fans here will be absolutely delighted to see that Ondrej Čermák, the local rider, is doing such a sterling job there, partnering Julian Veldman. So that is the top 5. Of course, we've had a change for 5th place with Willumsen and Van Verven now swapping positions. But look how close it is between Veldman, Čermák and Bax Mousset. Half a second is the gap between 2nd and 3rd place. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Can they do the same as what Willumsen did on Gert Van Verven and Ben van den Bogart? They're not close enough to make a move this time around. But they are the red plate holders for a very, very good reason. They don't get that for nothing, let me tell you. That's such a steep drop, is absolutely amazing. And not only that, Ondrej Čermák and Nicolas Mousset are hanging off the right-hand side of their outfits when they do that, of course. The camera really does not do that justice at all. But here we are, over the tabletop. Look at that, rounds of applause and the Czech flag waving for Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák. A little bit of time lost once again for Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. But they'll gain that back, I'm sure. You can see the rip roll on Nicolas Mousset's goggles just coming a little bit loose, flapping in the breeze. You can see on the left-hand side of that helmet, but already into the... You just see the left-hand side there, the blue and white of Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. So they are not that far up the road from these two guys. So Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset trying to get onto the rear wheel of Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák, but Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák trying to get onto the rear wheels of Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. It is all happening here for the first round of the World Sidecarcross Championship here in 2021. Look at that, less than half a second. Veldman Čermák ahead of Bax Mousset. It really is such a fascinating thing to watch. Now in front of Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax by some margin. Marvin has raced here previously with Ben van den Bogart, who of course we've now seen is partnering Gert Van Verven this season. And not only that, Marvin was a world champion in 2018, runner-up in 2019, but throughout his career has, I say only, he's only taken 5 overall wins. But when you compare that to 24 podiums, it just goes to show how consistently fast that Marvin van Leeuwen is. Robbie Bax had his best season in 2017. He finished 3rd that season. And not only that, he was the Dutch champion last year, was Robbie Bax. And he has 8 overall wins and 28 podiums as well. So very consistent pairing between Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. But they are out in front. You can see him just to the left-hand side of the picture. It is still Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák fending off the reigning world champion of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. So as I say earlier, Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák riding the CPD frame. And Ondrej Čermák actually had a big crash in the early part of 2018. Had a very difficult injury with his ankle, and in the early parts of the recovery process, it didn't look as though he'd be able to race again. Thankfully, though, here we are 3.5 years later. He is fighting fit, and he told me yesterday, in fact, that he only feels about 90%. And if this is Ondrej Čermák's 90%, wow, what is his 100% fully race fit going to be like? Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset all over the rear wheels still of the number 31 outfit as they go towards the halfway part of this circuit. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset look to the inside, but they've got a faithful of Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák. They went defensive as well, trying to carry more speed for Julian Veldman and Ondrej Čermák around that left-hander, and they'll launch them down the back straight here, over the jumps, and into the left-hander in just a moment's time. Look at the gap between themselves and 4th place. Is that still the number 25 of Lucas Journey and Bastien Chopin? It is indeed. And it looks though Koen Hermans and Nicolas Mousset have just got the better of Gert Van Verven and Ben van den Bogart as well. Gert Van Verven, Ben van den Bogart trying to make up moves once again. But Daniel Willumsen in 5th place. Now it's Koen Hermans in 6th place with Glenn Janssens. 7th place now Gert Van Verven and Ben van den Bogart. Be interesting to see how this one plays out for the final top 5 position. course, Ben van den Boogaard, throughout 2020, had a baby boy. So he's now a father, is Ben van den Boogaard. Of course, Kelly De Bruyne, his partner. So give it 20 years, and hopefully we'll see another Van den Boogaard in the World Sidecarcross Championship. There are certainly some fast genes. Kelly De Bruyne, the fastest woman in the world on a Sidecarcross outfit. Had a big crash in 2019, but she come back fighting fit. But she's looking after their newly born child. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. 10 world champions for Daniel Willemsen. Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens don't have any world titles as of yet. But of course, let's not forget that Koen Hermans is still very young in terms of Sidecarcross. Very fast driver is Koen Hermans. And with each and every race, he gains more experience, and there's no one better to follow than Daniel Willemsen. You don't get that amount of world championships for nothing. Look at him, watching, learning, absorbing the information, and to be able to use that to his advantage at some point. Look at that, goes to the inside, tries to square off the corner and trying to make a run up the inside of Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, but not this time around. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton trying to carry the corner speed around the burn. Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens got very close to the rear wheels of Daniel Willemsen that time around. Had to pull out of it, unfortunately. But they're still there fighting for 5th place. Cops and Horton inside the top 20 now. Visselink and Luc Rostang, who were caught up in the incident at the beginning of this race, are there in 21st. Look at the gap between 3rd and 4th. Such is the pace of the leading trio. Willemsen, Hermans and Janssens. Van Werven, Van den Boogaard. The pairing of Bukau. Varrick and Kunas now into 9th place ahead of Van der Lagema and Devine. Van der Stralen and Jens Mans. Marco Heinzer and Rudy Betschart, the Swiss pairing it in 12th ahead of Lefferink and Valeska. Viges and Van der Putten. Jake Brown and Joe Millard make their way from 24th into 15th now, with just over 12 minutes remaining until the clock runs out. It's all very close indeed for the final top 5 position. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton starting yet another lap here ahead of Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens. Gert van Werven, Ben van den Boogaard. Looks as though they're losing a little bit of ground. The elastic has broken between himself and Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens. But the field is all relatively spread out. This is probably the closest battle out on circuit between Daniel Willemsen and Koen Hermans. So Daniel Willemsen, the Dutch. Rodolphe Lebreton, the French. Koen Hermans, the Dutch. Glenn Janssens, the Belgian. So 4 different people there on 2 outfits, 3 nationalities. Number 111 leads number 3. I do know that Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens haven't really had much bike time together, so this really is a test for Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens to see how they go together, and to be this close to Daniel Willemsen and his passengers, very good indeed. Rodolphe Lebreton looks as though he had a little bit of a struggle there. They go defensive once again. Koen Hermans tries to look up the inside, but Daniel Willemsen, he's got a 6th sense where they're going to be, and he can't even see them. It's fantastic to watch. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton down the back stretch of the circuit now. Just in front, heading up towards that left-hander, was the 25 of Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin, the Czech and the French pairing. They've got a WSP frame with a Jawa engine. And just looking at the entry list, it looks as though that's the only Jawa engine in the field. So Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens still chasing hard after Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton as they come towards the final part of the circuit. One more jump then underneath the gantry for the 5th, 6th and 7th place riders. I don't know, Glenn Janssens had a few personal projects on the go at the moment, so he's not quite had as much time as possible to get on the bike, as we watch Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax just make their way in front of Sven Visselink and Luc Rostang, I think that was, and Martin Kralicek, the Czech pairing on number 50. But Marvin van Luken and Robbie Baggs are showing an absolutely dominant performance at the moment. Look at him sideways, looking at the rear wheel. Robbie Baggs hanging off the left-hand side of that bike into the very difficult right-hander now. You've got a tabletop jump to contend with in just a moment's time. Over the top they go. Robbie Baggs moves his way to the right-hand side and get ready for this very fast 180-degree right-hand corner before making their way up towards yet another big jump before flicking it left before the back stretch. Etienne Bax, Nicolas Mousset still there in a strong position. It looks as though there were 12 just making their way past some of the back markers as well. Heinzer and Betchart still inside the top 10 ahead of Lefrink and Pelescas. Van der Lagermaat and Devine drop from 10th to 12th. Van der Straal and Jens Mans up next, and it's Jake Brown, Joe Millard in 14th now ahead of Viges and Van der Putten. My mistake, it's Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak still in second place, fending off Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. So this really is a fantastic showing from the number 31 pairing of Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. I don't think anybody saw this coming into the weekend on their CPD Mega outfit. Throwing it sideways. Andre Chermak hanging off the left-hand side of the bike. It's fantastic to watch, fascinating to see, and exciting for all. So Van Luken, Veldman, Bax, Cherney. Next up should be Willemsen on number 111. And indeed it is, just ahead of Hermans and Janssens by just over a second. Van Verven, Van den Boogaard about 2 seconds adrift from Hermans and Janssens. And you can hear in the background the whistling, the waving of the flags and the air horns going for Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. There's Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, world champions from 3 years ago. 4 years ago. Making their way down the back straight. You can really see how the elevation changes. They go down from the jump into a dip for a good few seconds before bursting back into the picture, before breaking hard into that left-hander. Julian Veldman, Andre Chermak still out in front. It looks like they may have gapped Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset ever so slightly. We're going to look at the left-hand side of the commentary position here and see some of the back markers come into play as well. Jake Brown, Joe Millard still having a strong showing in 13th now for number 8. Of course, race number 28 2 years ago, finished 8th in the World Championship, hence the reason for the number 8. You can see the number 25 just making the way down. That is Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin. Daniel Willemsen still ahead of Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens. It's so close between those two. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Boogaard is very close between them as well. Not a lot of time separates 5th, 6th and 7th place. Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax already past the gantry. There is Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak just making their way up towards the first turn with Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset in tow. They're already up towards turn 1, turn 2 now. Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax already on the drop down from turn 3 into turn 4. As our 4th place rider, number 25, Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin, just makes his way down the backstretch. And we're coming under the gantry any moment now. There he is, right on cue. It is Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin, the Czech and the French pairing. As I say earlier, the only ones to run Jawa engines here this weekend. Next up is Daniel Willemsen and Kern Hermans, 5th and 6th. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Boogaard in 7th place on outfit number 11. So it's all very close between Daniel Willemsen, Rodolphe Lebreton and Gert van Verven, Ben van den Boogaard about 10-15 minutes ago or so. But that is time's gone by. A lot happens in a race and a lot has happened indeed. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton in 5th ahead of Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens. I'm not quite sure what happened to those two in the early part of this race because they were quite a way down the order, but either way they're up there in 6th now, fighting hard. And Kern Hermans, he may be young, but my word, he is fast and he is determined. Kurt Varrick, Larry Kunas into 8th place now, ahead of the number 26 of Jan and Pavel Bukau, the Czech pairing just ahead of Marco Heinzer and Rudy Betchart, the Swiss pairing ahead of Lefrink and Valeskas. Jake Brown, Joe Millard now ahead of Van der Lagermaat and Robert Devine in 12th and 13th. Then it's Van der Straal and Jens Mans ahead of the 418 of Stephen Viges and Loic van der Putten. Daniel Willemsen bursts into view once again ahead of Kern Hermans, 5th and 6th. Less than 5 minutes between now and when the clock runs out. Then it'll be 2 laps to go into that very, very difficult right-hander. Such a steep drop down into the right-hander in front of the pit area. And I can see one of the outfits in the pits there, number 69. That is Radek Polushny and Thomas Rozhon, the Czech pairing with their WSP Husqvarna in the pits. Kurt Varrick, Larry Kunas in a relatively lonely position now, but they're doing a fantastic job from where they were in the early parts of this race. But it's all eyes for the main battle on the track for 5th place, the final top 5 position between Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. And look at that, not a lot of time separates himself from Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens. Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart in 7th place. Through the chicane they go. Looks as though that is going to be Sven Visselink and Luc Rostang coming into play, the number 53. Through the gantry, 1, 2. Where is Gert van Verven? There he is in 7th place. So Sven Visselink and Luc Rostang let through the battle for 5th and 6th. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Bogart just a little way adrift from this battle now. It was so close, but look at that, less than a second between Willemsen and Hermans, with Van Verven around 2.5, 3 seconds behind Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens. Steep descent, right hand, over the jump, right hand. Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax are looking fantastic. Out in front by quite some margin now. Very healthy advantage, just making their way past one of the back markers again. Let's have a look where our Czech pairing is. So Van Verven, Van den Bogart still there in 7th ahead of Varrick and Kunas. There's the Czech pairing of Jan and Pavel Blukau in 9th place ahead of Heinzer and Betschart, the Swiss pairing around the 90 top 10. Lefrink and Baleskas just ahead of Jake Brown and Joe Millard by about 2.6 seconds or so. So with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left remaining in this race, and of course the additional 2 laps, can Jake Brown and Joe Millard catch up? That is the question that will be answered in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, what a fantastic ride they're having, still ahead of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. We're watching on the screen now. 2018 world champion Marvin van Leeuwen, 2019 runner-up Marvin van Leeuwen, 2017 third place rider Robbie Bax. There's Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak just in the background, 5.5 seconds, 5.6 seconds is the gap now between van Leeuwen and Veldman. So it really is Marvin and Robbie's race to lose, but of course this is racing, anything can happen. Oh, pure style from Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. Look at that, throwing that machine sideways. They make it look easy, and let me tell you, this is one of the hardest, most grueling sports out there, and they make it look as easy as that. That is why these guys are world-class athletes. It really is so good to watch. It's been far too long since we've had an FIM World Sidecarcross Championship round. 705 days it has been since GP14 of 2019 in Rudersberg, the south of Germany. Back then it was Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain who took the overall win. They of course aren't here this weekend, as I say, but look at that. That is Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax just carrying so much corner speed. They're just getting ahead of Stacey and Alex van der Velde, the Dutch pairing on their WSP Husqvarna. Willemsen and Lebreton still lead Hermans and Janssens. Van Verven and Van den Bogart ahead of Varrick and Kunas. Bukal still there in 9th ahead of Heinzer and Betschart. Lefrink and Baleskas in 11th. Jake Brown, Joe Millard are now 1.5 seconds behind Lefrink and Baleskas, so they're within touching distance. And that will give them some more points for their championship battle. There we go. One more lap then until we get the 2-lap board for Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. What a fantastic pairing for the Belgian and the Dutch rider, passenger of van Leeuwen and Bax. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak still lead Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset by 3 seconds now. 2.9 seconds is the gap between Veldman and Bax. So it looks as though they're going to have to settle for third place the reigning champion of Etienne Bax, and of course his World Championship partner of 2017, Nicolas Mousset. Got a long wait until our 4th place rider comes in front, and it still should be number 25 of Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin. But the pace out in front is electric. Lucas Cherney, Bastien Chopin, some 37 seconds away from the men in front of him, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. There's Williamson and Le Breton. Still less than a second ahead of Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens on the run up towards turn 1. Some slower riders coming into play once again for 2018 World Champion Marvin van Leeuwen and 2019 runner-up. They want to take away the red plate off of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset and establish themselves as the top dogs, the ones to be, the ones with their targets on the back. Looks like they're going to go for the wider line, carry more speed. We've got 1, 2, 3 outfits just in front. Julian Veldman, Andre Chermak, still a solid ride in 2nd place ahead of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. There we go. He's got the better of 1. Just 2 more to go for Vice World Champions of 2019, Marvin van Leeuwen. Robbie Bax, of course, in 3rd place in 2017. He most recently partnered Arne Deerkins, who isn't here this weekend. He kind of dropped off the radar after 2019, did Arne Deerkins. We do hope he comes back soon, because he is absolutely fantastic. The whole shot kings, as we like to call them. But here we go. 2 laps to go then before Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax take 25 points. It is all to play for. 3.5 seconds between Veldman and Bax. It looks as though that is done and dusted for the battle for 2nd place. So 25, 22, 20 points. That is how it would go. Veldman taking 22, Bax and Mousset taking 20. 4th place, of course, will take 18 points come race's end. And at present, it is Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin, the Czech and French pairing, in 4th. Next up is that fantastic battle between Willemsen and Koen Hermans. I think it's still the same order as what it was. Here the support from the crowd. That will do him no harm whatsoever. Into the left-hander then for Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. There's that battle for 5th place. Look at that. Still less than a second. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Le Breton. They are making their 3-wheeled outfit into a 9-wheeled outfit. It's so wide and so difficult to get past Daniel Willemsen. But Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, they are fired up and ready to give it a go with just 1.5 laps to go. Gert van Verven and Ben van den Boogaard now some 8 seconds adrift from that battle that was so closely contested in the middle point of this race. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas, the Estonian and the Finnish driver and passenger, in 8th place. Not the best of starts, but it's damage limitation for the number 6 outfit. There's Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. They will know that Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset are not challenging them anymore. Of course, driver and passenger can communicate if they can hear each other over the sound and the vibrations of these machines. There is Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Jake Brown and Joe Millard are up into 11th place now, about 3 seconds away from that Marco Heinzer and Rudy Betchar rounding out your top 10. So can they, Jake Brown and Joe Millard on outfit number 8, put themselves inside the top 10? What is the gap? It is about 3 seconds. And with, what we got? A lap and a half to go for them, I suspect. Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax have already taken the last lap flag. But here we go then, over the jump into the right-hander for Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. Robbie Bax still absolutely phenomenal to watch as passenger for Marvin van Leeuwen. Over towards the far part of the circuit now for the number 2 outfit. Veldman and Chermak now, what are they? 5.5 seconds ahead of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that is pretty much a done deal at the moment. But of course, this is racing. Anything can happen. Fingers crossed for Veldman and Chermak. This will be the best result in quite some time for Veldman and Chermak if they can hold this together. And the debut for the CPD frame not too bad indeed. Jinin and Chopin still ahead of Willemsen and Le Breton. Hermans and Janssens about a second behind now. So look at that, 1.005 seconds separates Willemsen from Kieran Hermans. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Bogart, about 11 seconds adrift from Kieran Hermans and Glenn Janssens. So can Kieran Hermans and Daniel Willemsen maintain their positions, or is Kieran Hermans going to try and make a move and put himself inside that top 5 position? Barrick and Kunas still there in 8th place as we watch Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax into the final half of the circuit now. Just this back stretch to go before the sharp left-hander at the end that we just see in the background before making their way back towards the gantry to take the checkered flag. It really has been so dominant for Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. They took up the run-in from the word go, and did anybody challenge them? They didn't get the chance. Into this very difficult left jump right, there's a bit of a chicane, then over the jump, but here they are then, ladies and gentlemen, taking the checkered flag, Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. The full 25 points for Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak take 2nd place, 22 points in their pocket. Ahead of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Look at that, fist bumps all round. What a fantastic ride from not only van Luken and Bax, but Veldman and Chermak. They really were the stars of that particular race. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset did not have an answer for Veldman and Chermak, but nobody had an answer for van Luken and Bax. So they're down there, thumbs up, smiles all around. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, will they be a little bit disappointed with 3rd place? I say only 3rd place because their expectations are so high. When you're a former world champion, like both of those riders are, you expect big things. Hermans and Janssens come home in 6th, so they didn't manage to get the better of Willemsen and Le Breton. So the order for the top 5, Van Luken and Bax, ahead of the number 31 of Veldman and Chermak. Then it's Bax Mousset, Jinin and Chopin, ahead of Willemsen and Le Breton. Kieran Hermans, Glenn Janssens in 6th, ahead of Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart, who were doing a fantastic job defending ahead of Daniel Willemsen. But Daniel Willemsen, it was a tough move from the 10-time world champion, but that is what you have to do. Unfortunately, sometimes there's a load of contact preceding the overtake as well, but there he is, Daniel Willemsen, the man himself. Absolutely fantastic stuff from all of our riders. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas come home in 8th, ahead of Jan and Pavel Bukal in 9th. Marco Heinz and Rudy Betschar held on to their top 10 position. Jake Brown, Joe Millard, some 4 seconds behind in 11th. Leferink and Baleskas up next in 12th. But Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, so dominant in the first race here this weekend. Of course, we've got a slightly altered format than what we've had in previous championships. There will be a race today and 2 races tomorrow. We'll have to see how they will cope with the new format. I do know that Adrian Peter didn't really agree with it, but this is the way it is, and it'll be the same for everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, I hope you enjoyed that fantastic ride there from Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. Fantastic battles between Dan Willemsen, Rodolphe Le Breton, and Kieran Hermans and Glenn Janssens for 5th and 6th. Really was amazing stuff. So what an awesome day it's been of not only World Sidecarcross action, but also the quad cross as well. Here we go. This is the 3rd place finishers in race 1, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. They were so close to Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak throughout the duration of the race, but they just lost touch within the closing stages. But still, a solid 20 points for Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. 2nd place, Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. What a fantastic, heroic ride And I know the Czech fans around the circuit here will be absolutely delighted with that performance. Julian Veltman and Ondrej Cermak, the Dutch and the Czech pairing, coming home second with 22 points. But 25 points in the bag for the 2018 World Champions, my mistake, sorry, Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. Can anybody take the fight to them tomorrow? We will have to wait and see. But in the meantime, what a fantastic day it has been. Full of action, full of suspense, full of tension. But after 705 days away, we are back. We are back, and we're back with a bang. And if this season is going to play out like it has done with the racing today, we are in for an absolute treat. Of course, we are down to a 4-round season at the moment, and hopefully they all go ahead, because this really, really will bode to be a very closely fought battle for the championship between the protagonists. So, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset third. Julian Veltman, Ondrej Cermak second, but the win went to Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin in fourth. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. Really, really good defensive ride from the very experienced partners there, Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. They come away with 16 points ahead of Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens in sixth. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Bogart running the strong fifth until the mid to late part of the race. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas up next in eighth, and it's Jan and Pavel Bukal, the first of the Czech pairings, in ninth ahead of Marco Heinze and Rudy Betchart. Jake Brown, Joe Millard, a bit of damage limitation there for the British pairing. They've got some good pace, but they shall go back tonight, rethink, and come back strong, full gas. Tim Leffering, Kostas Baleskas in 12th. Thomas van der Lagerma and Rob Devine, after their slight injury in today's crash in the qualifying session, they were there in 13th ahead of Steven Viges and Loet van der Putten in 14th. Romerick Chanteloup and Simon Vianes in 15th ahead of Van der Stralen and Jens Mans. Ryman and Lutweiler, Hoffman and Strauss, Sven Visselink and Luke Rostang ahead of Jan Palifka and Thomas Rota.
Official partners of WSC are